Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're back down here on the little farm creek, and I wasn't really intending on fishing this evening, but I was out taking care of some stuff and figured since this is kind of on the way home, why not? But anyway, we only got, I don't even need my sunglasses now, we only got about 30-45 minutes tops to fish, and I almost didn't make it down here because I nearly hit deer in two different spots on the highway down here. Well, not a highway, it's just a road, but yeah, nearly hit two deer in one spot and nearly hit four not an eighth of a mile down the road from that. So anyway, I'm not going to carry a whole heck of a lot, just a little trout magnet kit, see what we can catch in the little time we got. And I know I preach this all the time when I talk about taking your Berkeley gulps off your hook because they dry up. This is about 3/4 of an inch now and it is stuck to my hook, so got to cut that thing off. Definitely be careful doing it, because if you cut your fingers, it's a lot harder to fish. And yeah, it's just a no-no. That is no bueno. Alright, what do we want to use? You know what? Georgia and Georgia Tech are playing tonight, which is well past the fact because that game's already over with by the time y'all see this video. So we'll use a red and black trout magnet, not in honor of Georgia, but just because I'm not a Georgia or Bulldogs fan. Whew. But yeah, today is the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm still in a mild food coma, which I think the majority of people are. Oh, darn it. I missed one. I almost got this one. Didn't need a bigger boat for that one. But yeah, I wasn't really planning on coming out and fishing this evening, but since I don't put or post videos on Saturdays and Sundays anymore, I know I tried that for a while there, but it just wasn't working. Figured, heck, I'll go ahead and use those days to get caught up and try to get a couple extra videos for the schedule. Alright. I'm getting a bunch of little nibbles. They're not committing to it, so I believe it's because I didn't do what I always do with trout magnets, and that is cut one leg off to slim up that profile. I do that with every single one of them, and the crappie magnets too. I mean, crappie magnets ain't any different, it's just besides the size, that is. We hooked up now. Hopefully y'all can kind of get an idea of how much this little 7-foot medium light ACC rod bends with, a chunkaroni of a not yellow bass. I don't know why I about called you a yellow bass, a rock bass. That's kind of weird. Like where your dark spots are usually at, it's kind of pale. Well, we ain't skunked. That's all that matters. I just had a terrible experience. I know y'all know the pain. I went to open up my camera's or my phone's screen and our camera, and the rear camera was facing me. I didn't like what I saw. It's terrifying. And we're just going to focus on, this little part right here. I'm not going to walk through the bushes that way or try to cross underneath the bridge because it is slippery right there, and I don't have any intention of seeing how well I can swim this evening. What we got here? Is it what I came down here for? It is. I gotta turn around and hide. Can't be letting these people passing by see such monstrous fish. They'd be sneaking up on my spots. Nice little black crappie. That one was a fun little fighter. And the technique I'm using is that same cast it out and let it sink just slightly, and then slow twitch or twitch and slow retrieve. But I'm doing it a lot slower and a lot lighter twitches, just because this water right now it's in the low mid 40s air temperature, and I'm sure this water temperature is getting very close to that, so the fish are probably getting pretty lethargic. So just making those, slight, more finessey kind of retrievals might help. Oh, I ain't got a clue where that landed. It didn't land anywhere. It landed right in the tree. You see that, right? That is the one downside to using braid. It does like to recoil pretty bad. You know what? Screw it. I'm not even going to try to get that untangled. I'm just going to cut and take my losses. I'll get this wrapped up and put it in my pocket so that I ain't leaving this line laying everywhere. Definitely got to watch with these B&M jig heads, because that right there happens. B&M, like as soon as I get done with what B&M jig heads I've got, that will be the last of the B&M jig heads that I use, for the simple fact that from where the eye comes back around to that little shank, 9 times out of 10 the hook doesn't close far enough, or that little gap doesn't close far enough, and your jig head can come off your line. I have had that happen multiple times. So you have to definitely remember to check that little gap and close it down with your pliers. We don't have a whole heck of a lot of time here, but we'll give her a few more minutes. Another fish, but it's a crappie. And there's a car coming. Can't let them see this gargantuan beast. This crappie right here, he owns it. This crappie right here comes along and bullies all the other fish. He's a mean one. He's like, you better be throwing me back or before you get what you got coming to you. I need help. Oh, there's another one. There's fish in here to be caught this evening. It's just whether or not I can get lucky enough to get a hook in them. And hopefully, with my editing software, I can brighten this video up a little bit. That way it's not so dark. I guess before it gets too dark, I can still talk about the rod and reel. One I have been quickly growing to enjoy. Like when I first started using this rod, I didn't care for it. But the more I use it, the more I like it. This is a 7'1" medium light ACC crappie sticks. It is the GS71 PSG model, paired with a Shimano Nusky 1000 size with some 5-pound Power Pro. Super sensitive rod, but it's got a lot of backbone to really handle some of the bigger crappie and stuff like that. I need to get one of those little light attachments that I can set on top of or alongside my GoPro. That way it provides a little bit more light. It would come in pretty good handy for situations like this. And it paid off. What do we have? Got us another little crappie. Hold on. I have to get my phone out so it have some light. Yep, nice little crappie. Little bitty one, but it's a nice one. And on that note, we're gonna call her quits. Obviously the next day, and I figured I'd come back down here to the little farm creek and fish a little bit earlier, and I'm about convinced I'm not going to fish this earlier in the day anymore, at least not for the foreseeable future, because every time I've come down here to this creek to fish earlier in the day, nothing bites, nothing whatsoever. It's always that last like 20-30 minutes right at dark, and I really don't want to wait for that to come around, so we're going to jump ship and go to another spot. I don't know where, but we're gonna go somewhere else. Well, this place should look familiar. Going to be back up here tomorrow, except going upstream, hopefully before somebody else gets up there, because I've got a video idea that I need to do with some baits that I was given a good while back, and never did use them. Mostly because I was waiting on the crappie bite to get good, and up there it's much more consistent. So anyway, we're at the place. All I'm gonna bother with is this little box right here and see what's hiding this evening. Well, that was expected, just not that soon. This water this evening is ultra clear right now. Like, I can see the bottom, well, pretty much just about to where these trees right here come out of the water. So we're going to use a little bit longer fluorocarbon leader. I would prefer using 4-pound, but I don't know what I did with my 4-pound leader, unless I'm just out of it, and in which I've got something at home, but that doesn't do me any good up here right now. I figured there was something on there. I was a little bit suspicious and figured it was on the limb, but twere wrong. Yeah, I can get that one out. Itty bitty one. Like right here in front of me. Let me get this crappie unhooked first. There we go. Itty bitty one. But, as you know, they're all slabs. Alright, where was I at? Yeah, right out here in front of me. It's just a couple of feet deep in between these pillars right now. So I'm figuring stay along these tree limbs over here where everybody's got, like, see, there's 1, 2, 3. I think there's a couple of more bobbers floating around over there that's attached to snags. But if that's where the fish are at, just like that one that I missed, then so be it. Another one. Ain't a real big one, and that's more than likely the smallest crappie I've ever caught. That's just amusing. That's just hilarious. But it's alright. It's okay. And as Matthew McConaughey would say, alright, alright, alright. That was a lot of rhyming. Now the little micro, you're barely hooked too, so stop. Beast. That's not much bigger than the last one we caught. But that is alright, alright, alright. I figure since the water's as cold as it is, because I think it's in the like mid-40s today, and this water being so shallow, it's probably about the same, if not a little bit colder, instead of twitching it. Well, my retrievals are kind of varying. I'll do the twitching reel, and then sometimes just a real slow, steady retrieval without the twitching. But that one came out of about 2 feet of water and snagged it up. Alright, since it's so shallow right over there underneath the bridge, it won't take us a little float. Or so I thought, because that one didn't want to come out. And see if we can get one on slip float. Well, suspending. I rarely ever do the whole slip floating thing. That's a little bit nicer, not by much, but he took that little Le Trout Magnet. Tell you what, it's getting cold. Beast. But yeah, it's getting kind of nipply up here this evening. I got a very slight breeze, but it's also, like I said, in the 40s. But we're gonna hold her out for about, well, however long 44% will last on this battery, because that's the only battery I've got on me. All right. It appears that there's more of them over there Whew, in front of that pillar or over here. Alright, I did get one. Okay, this is official. If anybody at TWRA is watching, probably ain't. Actually, I know there is. There's one game warden that watches my content. He's checked me 3 times this year. Not that that's a bad thing. But do I get a trophy or something for catching small crappie in Tennessee? Because I'm pretty sure that's what I've got right here. That poor little goober couldn't hardly get the bobber down. What are you? Because you're not fighting like a crappie. It's because you ain't a crappie. And you came off and I barely got you. World record. It's right here. I'm telling y'all, this is why they will not let me fish the Elite Series, MLF, or any of them tournaments. Because them guys like Kevin Van Dam and all that, they can't hang with me. What's frustrating is I've got a very slight breeze going from right to left, and I'm trying to get right up against that footing on that pillar, but that breeze catches it and pushes me out farther than I want to go. Another one. I wasn't entirely sure. Another monster. Telling y'all what. We catch the biggest of the big on this channel. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that don't understand why I like these smaller fish like this. Well, as far as crappie go, if you're floating around in structure like this trying to figure out where they're at, regardless of size, you know, if you're catching small ones, the big ones will be there somewhere. You may not catch them, but they'll be there somewhere. And they'll tell you what you need to do the next time, or how you need to make adjustments that day, so on and so forth. But I'm also, like I've said a billion times before, I am a numbers angler. I care more about catching numbers of fish than I do catching sizes of fish. And I think one of the problems with fishing nowadays is people are so, like, they're stuck in that mindset of it's got to be the biggest fish or nothing. And I think a lot of people, you know, lose interest or lose hope or get sick and tired of it or bored, or, you know, just don't want to deal with or stop wanting to put the time and effort into it. Because if they're not meeting that standard they set for themselves, you know, you get burnt out and just give up. And that's why I stick to the small fish, because they're much more plentiful, and occasionally, if you're lucky, you can hook into a big fish. Because I have caught some monster fish on micro baits. For example, this one here that's popping up on the screen here. I'll leave a link in the video description so you can go back and watch it, but that bass was 6 pounds 10 ounces and was caught on a 1/32 ounce jig head with a, anyway, it was caught on a 1/32 ounce jig head with a 1 inch bait. Finally. Hey, another little bass fish. A little bit bigger than the first one we caught, but you wasn't coming loose. Nice. That is a nice one. Nissan. Nice one. You know, I was at the little farm creek for about 30 minutes or so before deciding to drive up here. So, yeah, turned out to be a better ordeal. One more. This feels like another bass fish, and it is. Decent yellow bass. And on that note, We're gonna call her quits. Can I have it back? Can I have it back? I wasn't asking. I had a decent sized yellow bass. That felt pretty good on this 7-foot medium light ACC. I'm not sponsored by ACC. I just really like their rods. Heck, I'm not even partnered with them, but I really like their rods. Like, I've been using them more than I have anything here lately. Of course, I've also been doing more panfish, you know, stuff like that kind of fishing lately. So, anyway, I'm gonna try to get back up these rocks without dying. We'll see you in a minute. And I probably should have brought my camera tripod instead of or just propping my phone up on some rocks, but it is what it is. Not a bad little stop up here at the bridge this evening. Hadn't fished down here in a while. Like, I've been going upstream more and hitting some other spots, but caught some numbers of fish and was able to turn this into a little video. But anyway, little trout magnet kit, panfish magnet kit. These are more or less the same thing as the trout magnet. I think the hook size is just a little bit different, but you don't even have to have like this, for example. Just a little box like this is super handy for, you know, quick little stops on, you know, a creek bank. You got plenty of room in these things here to put some, you know, jig heads like you see there. And for example, if I've got one in my pocket, you can't fit them in these trays because they're just too thick, but put a couple of tiny little floats in there. That way, you know, you can suspend over structure or whatever. And, you know, if you don't want to use just the worms, you could put some spinners, stuff like that in there. Some micro crankbaits, or, you know, whatever you want to do. Have your little pocket-sized kit. Catch a snot out of fish. And possibly even catch a big one, kind of like I was talking about, because elephants do eat peanuts too. That still blows my mind. Anyway, it's getting friggin' cold. It's getting dark, and I'm missing football games this evening. So anyway, hope you like the video. Check out all the links in the video description. The top two are my affiliate links. Anytime you buy something through those links, I get a little commission off of it. And check out the third link, that is the channel membership. If you want to see videos early before the public does, click that link and join. So anyway, hope you like the video. We'll see you in the next one.